Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, I want to talk about projection, that thing that we often do when someone else's happiness gets under our skin. And I'd like to use an example that a lot of you will have seen online, I believe. There's a young woman on TikTok. Um, I'm not going to name her, but I think you'll know who I'm talking about, who built her entire content around dating. So that would be going on dates, looking for her person, and being open about the process. And when, after one of her first dates with someone, she came back from the date and filmed a video and said something along the lines of, without a shadow of a doubt, that is my future husband, the internet lost it. Because God forbid you show happiness. Oh, she's delusional. She's being love bombed. There's no way she can know that after one date. Oh, he's playing her. She's performing it for content. It won't last. The comments were literally relentless. And I found myself watching that thinking, why does this bother people so much? Like, are you all well? Genuinely speaking. Because objectively, what did she do wrong? What did this girl do actually wrong? She met someone, she felt certain about it, and said it out loud, put it on the internet. That's it. Something so simple, yet the reaction was absolutely disproportionate in a way that I found mind blowing. The level of investment in a stranger's relationship, that urgency to call it out, to predict its future, to be nasty about it, like, I'm sorry, that does not come from nowhere. Like, it comes from inside the person leaving the comment. And I call this projection. And it's one of the most common things that us human beings do, unfortunately. It's when something outside of you triggers something inside, something unresolved. And instead of recognizing that, you go ahead and assume that the other person is a problem. The trigger is the feeling that you experience, the feeling that you feel, and projection is what you decide to do with it. So, for example, the person who's been, let's say, love bombed, sees love bombing everywhere. The person who maybe, I don't know, got cheated on after moving a little bit too fast, let's say, will see danger in anyone moving too fast. Or the person who's given everything to a relationship that fell apart then sees danger in seeing other people being giving in their relationship. And it's an uncomfortable feeling that obviously that will stir in you if you have your own unresolved wounds. But ultimately, none of the comments were actually about her, and it was all about people leaving them. And then we have another layer, happiness itself, because again, God forbid someone shows genuine happiness about anything nowadays. I don't think the reaction was only about the speed of the relationship. I think it was the certainty she expressed, and I think it was just like her showing happiness, that she was just visibly happy, and certain. And for someone who is miserable inside, seeing this happiness is genuinely threatening. I don't think anyone actually sits there thinking, yeah, I'm going to tear this woman down because like she reminds me of everything I don't have. Like, I don't think people genuinely do that, but it's what's driving the behavior. That's what's actually happening um, underneath the surface anyway. Because other people's happiness can function like a mirror. And if you don't like what's reflecting back at you, the easiest thing to do is to smash the mirror rather than look back at what it's showing you. It's that simple. It means that you believe something that the rest of us don't think you should have yet. But like, who decides the timeline? Who decided that one date isn't enough to feel something with, absolute certainty? Or maybe it was just rage bait and you all fell for it. Because people calling her delusional, they're not really operating from logic, let's be honest. They're operating from their own fear, and their own experiences of like things not working out. Their own protection mechanism that says, don't be too sure, don't be too happy, don't be too certain, don't say it out loud because you never know, you might be wrong, that sort of thinking, which is a common response to being hurt, in fact. But it's not a verdict on her experience. It's not a verdict on anyone else's experience but your own. And to be fair, there is no way any of us can know what's real from the outside, whether the relationship was genuine, whether it was content driven, whether it lasted. Well, we know it lasts because they get married, but never mind. We can't know for definite what's happening. And that's the interesting part. The possibility that it might not be real didn't make people concerned for her, it made them hostile towards her. Most of them don't care about a stranger on the internet being played, let's be honest. They don't care. Hell, many are envious enough to hope for it. And there's a distinction because concern looks like, oh, I hope she's okay. I hope she's not being taken advantage of, that sort of thing. While hostility looks like, oh, she's rushing. This is embarrassing. Someone's being love bombed. I can't wait to see that relationship fail just to be right. And one of those comes from empathy, and the other one comes from somewhere much, much less comfortable to examine. Sadly, this isn't just about one woman on TikTok, it's a pattern. Anytime a woman is visibly happy, visibly certain, visibly unbothered, the comments arrive. She's naive, she's being played, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Just wait. And it's actually exhausting. Like how invested people become in being right about someone else's downfall, how much energy goes into predicting failure for a stranger, how satisfying it almost seems for some people when things do go wrong because it confirms what they said. And that's not concern. I'm sorry, that's projection. That's projection hunting for evidence. So what's going on underneath all of this? I think a lot of it comes back to something we talk about a lot on this channel, and it is unresolved wounds. Basically looking for somewhere to land. When you haven't processed your own experiences, whether that's a relationship that didn't work out, the person that broke your trust, the certainty you felt once that turned out to be completely wrong, all these things shape how you look at everything. And someone else's happiness, willingness to be open and vulnerable and hopeful can literally feel like you're being provoked, specifically when you've closed off yourself, as a form of self protection. And it's easier to call her delusional than to ask yourself, when did I stop believing that was possible for me? Or simply recognize that you triggered and ask yourself why. You look deeper, not whether she was right or wrong, not whether the relationship was real or not, but, look at what your reaction to it says about you. Because if you watched that and you felt irritated or smug or certain about the fact that she was being played, that's information and it's not about her, it's information about where you are. Like, what did her happiness remind you of that you've stopped hoping for? None of these questions are comfortable, of course. That's part of shadow work, and that's why it's dark sometimes. But they're the ones that that can actually lead somewhere. So the question I want to leave you with this week is: when was the last time someone else's happiness or certainty bothered you? First of all, and what was it really all about? Start there. So yeah, this is it for me for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as usual, and I shall see you in the next video.